Dude, I had a game break where you have to use... Oh, who's your little pet, your companion?
Nyx, yeah.
I had to use Nyx. The button, like LB on PlayStation, is what brings up Nyx and you can give him different actions.
Yeah.
He wouldn't load up.
Oh,
you
no.
hit LB, nothing happens. So I'm like, I literally have to hit this panel that's behind the wall, and I can't get to it because the game's broken. No, you were too good. Which one is this again?
This one is not one you don't know because
I want to try.
This looks like something I'd get on Mos Eisley.
Yeah, this looks interesting.
It's called the. Well, I'm gonna call it. Let's rephrase the statement. The Kylo Ren Rita.
Ooh.
That's salt on the rim?
Sugar.
Oh, interesting.
I needed the black. So my black vodka didn't work out so much.
Did it not?
It like the color works fine, but it's so black that it turns everything black. So yeah. So as a reminder, especially you
speaking to the microphone.
Yeah. So 1 to 3 inches or 1 to 4 inches from the microphone.
Okay.
And then it is directional.
Okay.
So that way.
So none of this.
Yeah, because like he was last time he was talking like this.
Oh, there was a couple of times I even had
right that.
No, exactly. I would just lean in to like speak closer to you.
You
guys.
were
It's
great
like,
until the last 10 minutes, and then you moved it like this.
Did I?
You could see it. You could see it in the video. I was like, no,
because there was nothing like subconscious.
Yeah.
About me thinking about it. I was like,
it at all, and that's where whenever he sent the message, I'm like, oh, I was all over the place.
All right. Well, hold on.
okay. Well, you just took what the?
I licked the sugar.
Okay. I was like, I was waiting the whole time, and then I saw you go for it, and I go, what the frick?
No, I just licked the sugar because it was running down the side. All right. All right. Welcome to Epic Screen Time, where today we are talking about Star Wars, and in reference to that, we are having a Kylo Ren Rita. Y'all can go ahead and dive in.
It is red.
It is red.
With some black on the top.
I will post some pictures. It is triple sec, tequila, champur, which is a black currant.
Smooth.
I feel the dark side taking over.
It is a black currant liqueur, some cranberry juice, simple syrup, lime juice, blended with blackberries. So
it's delicious.
It's delicious.
I'm very happy with it.
It's a little bit better than the 10 a.m. shot.
hey, come on. The 10 a.m. shot was smooth, though.
The 10 a.m. whiskey shot.
Hey, it
was smooth, though. I'll give you that.
So, all right. But yeah, so that is the drink. We have that camera if y'all feel like looking at a camera, and then that one over there if you want to look at that one.
I just realized how intently I was like leaning and staring at you, and I'm like, I probably look like an idiot in that camera.
No. I mean, like,
I'm just like this.
We were like I told you earlier. Hallie and I were working into this earlier, and we were just like I had a recording yesterday I have a treat for y'all coming, and
cool.
It'll be next year probably, but I have a treat for y'all, and so we were recording part of that, and so you don't have to look at the camera, you know, and if you look at me, it does not look unnatural.
Doesn't look weird. Okay, good. Yeah, because for those who are just listening audio wise, it just looks like a stick. It really does not look like a camera at all. It kind of threw me off.
It's the Insta360 X3 cam. So like it's a 360 camera that I use on my motorcycle as like a dash cam.
Oh, okay.
And,
interesting.
That's cool. It gets everything just from the little.
Yeah. Because there's a camera on this side too.
Okay.
So like, and each camera does 190 degrees. Okay. So they blend a little bit side to side.
That's really cool.
Up and down to like 175. Like so, like right here, you can't see the bottom. So I figured this was the easiest way rather than like I tried to attach that to this, but it bogged down this. So, but yeah, so today we're talking about Star Wars. And before you can look at the screen, I have a question for you, Sam. You mentioned this week that you finished episode 5.
Yep. And 6.
So no, I am more keying in on the episode 5. Is that how you grew up naming them?
Yeah, I guess.
Because
Empire Strikes. Yeah, I never really referred to it as Empire Strikes Back. I always kind of called it episode 5.
Yeah, because like my first memory is Empire Strikes Back or episode 5, sitting behind my parents' rocking chair while they were watching it in the den because I hated the scrolling wheel of words. And I was like, I don't want to read my movie. But yeah. So
also pausing on that, the scrolling words. Did you guys used to struggle like reading that at a certain pace? I reread when I was watching today. I was like, man, this is so slow. I really struggle. Okay, well, you need to rewatch episode 5 because I thought the same thing. I was like, man, I really used to struggle with this.
Yeah, that's why I hated reading. I was like, I don't want to read this. So, what is your first memory? Y'all's first memory of Star Wars?
Oh man, I just feel like, well, definitely was episode 1. So the Phantom Menace. I remember 1 kind of being terrified of Darth Maul, like low-key getting nightmares. I remember 2 wanting to be Anakin. I don't know. I just thought he was super cool. And Pod Racers. I remember Pod Racers very vividly.
Mm-hmm. So your first one is episode 1?
Yeah. I didn't watch the original trilogy until after I finished 1, 2, and 3.
So you watched them in sequential order. On the screen, and what will be in the show notes is a viewing order. So you watched it chronologically.
Yeah, I did. Unintentionally, but yeah. I think it's probably because my dad loved Star Wars growing up. And he always would play them like on Spike TV. I just never watched the original trilogy. But once I was invested in the after watching the prequels, then I was like, okay, I need to watch these. But I think since he loved the original trilogy, he probably wanted to see them in theaters at least by himself. And he's like, I got a son, so I can take him with me. And then I got hooked after that.
What about you, Carter?
Mine was a similar experience to Sam. My dad enjoyed the Star Wars films. He wasn't a diehard fan, but still appreciated them. So when Phantom Menace came out, I was 9, 10 years old. He made my brother and I watch at least A New Hope before we went to go see it. So I remember watching A New Hope for the first time going, I don't love this. This is kind of dated. But then falling in love with it, of course. And so the Phantom Menace was the first one we saw in theaters. But he made us watch A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi first. And so saw those before I really had any idea what Star Wars was. And then, same as Sam. Saw Phantom Menace in theaters. I remember seeing Revenge of the Sith with my dad my probably sophomore, junior year of high school. Loved them, but yeah.
Okay. So good.
Yeah. See, I watched 4, 5, and 6. So what became A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi with my parents on VHS in the house.
Okay. Definitely had them on VHS.
And then I saw 1, 2, and 3 in theaters when they came out. But yeah, so it's really, you called it episode 5, and I was like, I have never thought of it as episode 5 unless I'm explaining the breakups in between them. And so you being afraid of Darth Maul is a very interesting comment, because for me, his double lightsaber entrance is iconic in my brain.
So iconic. Well, you have to realize I was 5 when this came out. So I was super young, and you get black, yellow eyes, the horns, red face, hunting down the good guys.
Ninja outfit.
Yeah. But he is so cool as a villain. One of my favorites in the Star Wars universe.
I used to watch. So when I was little, my grandparents lived 6, 8 hours away. And I say it not saying they moved a lot, just I don't remember exactly how far it was from my house. And we had one of those in-car TV things that was 80 pounds that you put in between the two
bungee
seats.
Cording it in between. Oh, yeah.
So we had one of those. I watched episode 1 on VHS so much that I ruined the VHS. Yeah. I rewatched it in preparation for this, and I can still quote word for word almost most of the movie. I probably have not seen it since what's episode 7?
Release date?
The Force Awakens.
Yeah, Force Awakens.
That's when I started rewatching them to get ready for this. I haven't seen it since then. So it's
been I think I tried to rewatch it 4 years ago, and I was like, man, it's not as good as I remembered it.
I actually think it's better than I remember it, because there's so much hate for Jar Jar that people write off the entire movie.
Yeah.
But as a 10-year-old, Jar Jar was hysterical.
Yeah.
It's only he wasn't for the adults. And I think as we're going into this, I think episode 1 is way better than what we give it credit for.
Really?
Because of what it introduced. And now that we have shows like The Acolyte and it being canceled ish. Apparently, the actor today was interviewed for who's the main villain?
Not the Squid Games guy.
Yes,
That's him.
well, no, he's not in Squid Games, is he?
Well, the main guy in Squid Games I know is in.
Oh, no, not him.
Okay.
No, not the Jedi. What's his name?
I haven't seen Acolyte.
Okay, the guy who plays the bad guy. Then you don't have to give it away because that's a plot point.
Oh no, you're good. I haven't seen it.
I will watch it. I do plan on watching it.
He announced that he's like, it is my life goal to at least do season 2 because there's so much story that we left out that I want to at least finish it. And I was like, cool, I'm down. I think a second season would save the series.
Really?
It was good. Like I know we had.
I've only heard good things about it, except the ending kind of fell a little bit flat. That's all I've heard.
I think it fell flat because they wanted to do a second season because they knew they couldn't finish the rest of the story in the first season. That's my personal opinion. I know viewership numbers were drastically low, and that's why they canceled it. But like, it gave you Star Wars content. It also introduced what I think episode 1, rewatching it with the context of the Acolyte, you can see the arrogance. So like an Acolyte, the Jedi are arrogant beyond belief. You can see that rippling in episode 1 so much more after watching it. Like everyone's arrogant. Oh, the Jedi would never do that. Oh, the Jedi can't do that. Oh, we can do that. We're the Jedi, And so watching it, they are so arrogant. I never caught that. Even after all this time, I've never seen it though. I was like, oh, you're a little cocky. But no, they're arrogant beyond belief. And so like the whole like, if the Sith were around, we'd notice. No, you wouldn't. Granted, I haven't read the books or anything like that. So,
yeah, I always love when new content enhances old stuff. And that's where I'm sure we'll get into it. That's why I hate episode 9 so much, because it does the opposite. To me, it makes old content worse.
Mm-hmm. So what? How would you explain? We'll go with Carter. Mm-hmm. How would you explain the Skywalker Saga? Speaking that's what we're trying to curtail our conversation about is the Skywalker Saga, not bringing in the TV shows, just the movies. So the 9 movies. How would you explain the story of the Skywalker Saga?
Oh boy, that's a tough question. I would say
it's like all. I mean, is the simplest way to put it just all around Anakin Skywalker? Like he's the focal point
from the 1 through 9.
Yeah,
I would think so. I mean, that's where the 1 through 9 still bring out the Anakin, like the Skywalker name. Like that's what they're chasing after is, hey, these are the Skywalker Jedi. There's not any other like them out there. And that's what was so special about Anakin and the Phantom Menace. And then even taking him more to, not the Last Jedi, the one after Force Awakens. And
you were right, The Last Jedi.
Okay, The Last Jedi. Thank you.
So the number 9 is The Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
thank you.
The Last Jedi.
Okay.
I'll fight somebody on that one. I hate it.
Same.
Okay, I thought you were going to say
no.
I'm
in the same boat with you.
Rian Johnson ruined I think he ruined the sequel trilogy with that movie. And I looked it up. He made a comment during an interview that I think he meant that he played as a jest, that he wanted to ruin the series because he was tired of Star Wars content.
And see, that's where like my issue with like the last 3.
For listeners, don't quote me on that one. I need to look it up. If I find it, it'll be in the show notes. But if not, it was a memory that was wrong.
Fair enough. And I guess that's where I was a little. There's some love-hate relationship with the last 3 that came out because I love Star Wars. I love the world. I was introduced to it as a young kid, and I just wanted more Star Wars. And then the last 3, they had to put such an emphasis on just nostalgia and the Skywalkers. It's like, hey, I feel like we're kind of already beating a dead horse. We had Return of the Jedi in the original trilogy with the Skywalkers. Let's just move on to something else. But we'll see what happens later on in the series. But yeah, I guess the original 3, hey, it's Luke, or the original 9, it's all Skywalkers. That's what the directors were focused on, and I was hoping to see just more of the Star Wars world, which hopefully we get here in the next few years.
Who are the Skywalkers in 9? Because
big
thing is that Rey is not
Leia's in there.
Leia dies in
Ben
it,
Solo.
Right?
Ben's a Skywalker.
Oh yeah, I mean, Leia, I guess.
And if you want to be technical, Rey takes the Skywalker name at the end.
Mm-hmm. God, that movie was so bad.
And, see, I think. So I did find the quote. I don't think it is on sort of list. On one hand, it's Star Wars. It's hard to say no. On the other hand, I really just enjoy writing my own stuff. I'm writing an original screenplay right now, and figured I've got to sort of do it. So luckily, I don't think it's a problem that I'll have to deal with when talking about directing this movie. I don't think he cared.
No, I mean, I think it's a popular opinion that like the position that Star Wars was in after 8 was unrecoverable.
Yeah,
it was in such a terrible spot. Like they were building up Snoke. Snoke's dead. Now there's like this weird.
Yeah, I think
Luke
J.J.
is the
Abrams,
worst now. Who is the sacred
he's
character?
Dead. He died in 8.
Yes. Well, not only did he die, but he sucked.
Yeah, he
like as a person, he was just super annoying. Like was not fun.
Yeah,
he went back. He betrayed the order that he was trying to bring up, and that was my issue with it. I'm just like, this isn't the Luke that we all grew to love.
Well, I mean, it is the Luke that is more closely related to the books, though, and not bringing the books into this. So I think that's where it was trying to go.
Okay.
And I also get the concept. I don't think it's as close, but I get the trying to compare the relationship to Yoda and Empire Strikes Back, where he's kind of annoying at first, and you're like, you know, this is kind of a side tangent, but I would have loved to be in the position of seeing Empire Strikes Back for the first time and having no clue who Yoda was, having no clue that Darth Vader was his father. But coming back, I can see why they was trying to make a comparison to Yoda being kind of weird, quirky, and annoying at first impression. Same for kind of Luke to Rey, but Yoda was doing that with intention of like trying to test Luke to see if he had patience and like attributes of a Jedi, versus Luke was just annoying. And you're right, he does kind of betray. I don't know the book lore aspect.
I don't know either.
But it does feel like it betrays his character that we know in the original trilogy.
But see, I think it goes back to him being the Luke that we saw in. Wow, we were really going off topic here, but hey, it's cool.
That's okay. That's what this is for.
Luke we saw in Empire Strikes Back. He's annoying, young kid. And I think he just reverted that. He's by himself.
I don't know if I'd say he's annoying.
He's definitely rash. Is so annoying.
What's annoying about him?
He's a kid who
wants to go save his friends.
But, no. I'm talking about during training, just whining and complaining. He is Anakin to a T, but people just didn't see it that way. And like Anakin's just the greater component of that, because Luke is half Anakin, half Padme, and Padme is such a stoic individual.
Yeah.
And so she's the best.
She is. Bro.
She is.
She's my first crush.
And if we're talking about first crushes, Padme, like she's
Natalie
up there.
Portman.
Lola Bunny, like they're all in that group.
Lola Bunny. All right. But no. So, and for clarification on episode 1, 2, and 3, Padme is 14. I know they use Natalie Portman, but Padme is only 14 at that time, and Anakin's 9 or 10. So, like, the age gap is not as drastic as Jake Lloyd versus Natalie Portman. Right. So, and I think, like, I understand why they left Natalie Portman as Natalie Portman. They needed someone with a name, because Ewan McGregor wasn't the Ewan McGregor that we know and love. Yeah. He is now because of that.
Was Liam Neeson a big name at the time?
Yes.
And he's obviously gone after episode 1, so.
But what a great character too. Like I would love
Qui-Gon Jinn is the best. We need a game or something where he's the focal point.
I would love to see an Obi-Wan season 2. Have you watched that show?
Yeah, I have.
That to me is what saved 1, 2, and 3 for the mass audience.
Really?
The show was spectacular.
That was like, I mean, it's a good show. I think that was just more so like a love letter to people who love the prequel.
But I think for those that were iffy about the prequels, I think that
it gave us hope for more stuff.
Yes, I think it brought back that sense of like fear for Vader. This is post episode 9, so you get that fear of Vader, and like if you ever get the chance to watch the making of Obi-Wan, highly recommend it, because Ewan McGregor was legitimately afraid of Hayden Christensen in the Darth Vader outfit during their lightsaber battle, because he didn't know he was there. They put him in the dark and had him just walk out of the dark and flash light on him. So Ewan McGregor's legitimately afraid. He's like, I feel like a kid again watching Darth Vader come out at me with a lightsaber. And so, I think you're right. I think it is a love letter, but because at the end, Obi-Wan starts talking to Qui-Gon, I would love to see it being Obi-Wan season 2, but what it really is Qui-Gon telling him stories of why he was, like Count Dooku talks about, Qui-Gon would have joined me on this fight against the Republic.
Yep.
And we know Qui-Gon was always fighting with the Masters from episode 1. So, like, I would love to agree. I would love to see more of that.
Because even such a great character.
Like, I do remember reading the Obi-Wan books in the beginning, and it's Obi-Wan being Qui-Gon's, like, Padawan.
Yeah.
And it shows more of that relationship. I don't want that relationship. I want Qui-Gon to be the, what I think they were alluding Rey to be at the end, this gray Jedi that was more like, hey, look, I just want to be attuned with the Force. I don't care about light and dark type deal. So getting us back on track. Favorite movie?
Starting with me?
Yeah, sure.
Dude, Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. So
it's
3.
Yeah, so 3. We're going by the numbers. Yeah, I mean it's a no-brainer for me. You're saying how Phantom Menace is the one that you have every word memorized. For me, that's Revenge of the Sith. Like, watched the movie multiple times, played the game. I even have, like, I was trying to find it before this episode. I have a photo. I think it was either at a theater or like something Star Wars related. They were doing like this photo booth where it wasn't just like a photo booth where you're behind a cardboard box. They were like, take your photo and mend it on Anakin's body. So, little like 11-year-old Sam's face on Anakin's body. I have that photo somewhere.
If you find it, I'll put it in the show
Yeah,
notes.
if I find it, I tried to find it because I remember we had it like framed in our house, and all my friends would make fun of me for it once I got older. But dude, Revenge of the Sith, I just think is so good. Like, it ties a bow so perfectly on the transition from, okay, we know who Anakin is, we love him. How are we getting to Darth Vader? General Grievous, so cool. Like Count Dooku's transition to the Emperor.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said Count Dooku. I did not mean that.
Emperor Palpatine.
Palpatine's transition.
Darth
Count
Sidious.
Dooku. Count Dooku's death. Well, hold up.
The
train of thought. He dies in front of the.
I knew where you were going when you were saying Count Dooku, and then you said became the Emperor. I was like, okay.
That didn't feel right. No, Palpatine's transition. I mean, there's just so many scenes that I loved, and kind of the end for Padme as well. I do, 5, easy answer is 5 is really close for me there, and I really love 7 as well. I think it was a great, reintroduction, first swing from Disney, but 3 is always going to be my favorite.
Card.
I mean, I would agree with 3. That's very nostalgic. But just to play devil's advocate, little hot take here. Love Clone Wars. I know there's a lot of people out there. Look, I had a twin brother. All the video games that were out at the time, you could play Clone Wars co-op and go do stuff within the Clone Wars world. Loved that. And
favorite scene from Clone Wars?
I need to know. The big Coliseum fight.
Oh, yeah, so good.
When Jango Fett loses his head. I will say Jango
That
Fett
is out of nowhere.
Like, it is probably the most graphic Disney scene. It wasn't Disney at the time. But I mean, like, you can
see graphic.
You see his head fall. You see his head
fall out of the helmet.
Yeah.
So, like,
and also, like, why is he going down there? Because lightsabers.
He knew he wasn't going.
He knew he was about to die.
Oh, dude, think about it. I mean, like, but his blasters are so cool. They make the greatest sound. The little, like, they're awesome.
So
I mean, they're awesome.
Is his son
Bobo?
Yeah,
Boba
okay,
Fett.
we're almost that's
who we see.
And that's what I loved.
Yeah,
like, I love seeing that transition of, this is when his son takes up the mantle, and this is who we see in.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
Yep. I will say the Mandalorian season, Book of Boba Fett, have been another show that, like, if the Acolyte could have fallen that same grittiness, I think it would. Like, I think they tried. I think they just, we got we'll have a Star Wars.
We'll have to have a show episode.
We'll have to
because we could just go down so many tangents for this topic.
So my favorite is episode 1. I think, and here's why. Natalie Portman. And Darth Maul is by far the greatest villain Star Wars has ever had.
What?
And here's
over the Emperor? Over Darth Vader?
I say this as because he is the one that is the most powerful, and his arrogance is what kills him. It's not plot armor.
I think if we're talking like design and
abilities,
like yes, I'll give you that. But come on, Vader's iconic.
Vader's iconic, but look at his fighting style.
He's just pure strength.
And so is Kylo. And because Kylo is just Vader 2.0. He's just Vader without a mask. He's just aggressive. And, his crossguard, by the way, is dope. I don't care what anyone says. That crossguard is awesome. Like, people hate on it. And like, how is he not burning his hand? I was like, do you not see the little things that stop his hand? I was like, come on, it's an actual crossguard.
Yeah.
I think he is the best bad guy. Let alone the actor who plays him is the same actor that played Toad in the X-Men
movies. I did not know that, but I totally see it.
And he is a wushu master. Like that's him doing all the flips.
I know he was legit.
That's cool. I didn't know
and
that.
so like that to me is super cool. And then episode 7. I think 4, 5, and 6 are woefully underrated. However, they have to maintain a spot and because of what they brought to cinema in general.
Yeah.
And also just to the nerddom and allowed nerds to be cool for once in their life.
Right. Let's pause on. I want to ask you a question on episode 1.
Sure.
This is for both of you guys. Is the Duel of Fates, do you think the best lightsaber fight out of all the movies?
No.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Then what's your pick? And then I want to hear you.
Mine is Duel of the Fates. That one's probably my favorite.
It is cool, but the fight, if we're just talking about fighting, then episodes 8 were the battle with the Praetorian Guard.
Throne room.
Yep. And episode 9, fighting with at the end.
No.
I haven't seen episode 9 in a long time, but episode 8.
I don't know. I watched a TikTok the other day that show fight scenes from like the original, the 1, 2, and 3, and then what we got with
7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9. I gotta say,
I think
TikTok's right.
TikTok is right.
Please poprovide me that TikTok.
Garrett needs the evidence.
No, because I don't have TikTok. I refuse to be on a Chinese.
It was on Kaylee's. I don't have TikTok on my phone.
Okay, tell Kaylee I need that.
The Star Wars fight comparison came on Kaylee's feed.
But no, I think
I believe that.
I think 8 with Rey and Kylo just working those dudes.
It's an awesome
That scene is cool.
And that's the only redeeming. I mean, it doesn't even fix it. It's just the only good scene in that movie.
Yes, but I will say 3 is a close second between Ewan and Hayden.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
What about Grievous? I like the Obi-Wan.
Grievous is
it's too short, man.
Dude, it is short, but when he comes out with those lightsabers and he
it's
spins,
a cool scene, but it's not a cool fight scene. We're talking about fight scenes.
But the movie's already 3 hours long. Like they had to shorten it somewhere.
It's not 3 hours long.
Dude, it is long. It's close to that.
I can look it up.
Yeah,
let's get
a timestamp or let's get a fact check on that.
We're talking about episode 2,
episode 3.
3.
Yeah, Grievous.
Oh yeah,
fight.
3 Grievous.
Yeah, Grievous.
Yep.
Because that's where Obi-Wan shoots him with the blaster
Yes.
as he's hanging off the ledge.
And he makes him like, why can't we be
2
civil?
hours and 20 minutes.
Okay, so 2.5 hours. I mean, that's a long.
This was
movie
before
for
the 3 hour movie times, though.
Yeah.
This
is before Lord of the Rings.
True.
So, but yeah, no,
Yeah, that's my favorite. Episode 3's. What's that called?
Revenge of the Sith.
Well, yeah. What's the fight called? There's a name for it.
I don't know. Let me go here. You want to Google that?
Yeah, I need the name of the fight. I can't continue this episode without knowing.
So,
but that's my favorite. I mean, it goes so long, and there's like the build up to it. You were like a brother to me. I mean,
yeah, it is a
so
solid thing.
Battle of the Heroes.
Battle of the Heroes. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, they have great names for the fights, like Duel of Fate, Duel of Fates.
They're all. I mean, like they're named after the songs too.
Oh, really?
Like the dun 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 is the song is called Duel of Fates,
and then just the. Yeah. It's over, Anakin. I have the so good.
I have the high
I have failed
only
you,
a Sith
Anakin.
deals an absolute, which is an
I have
absolute.
failed.
You know, like
yeah.
So okay, I know you can see the screen, Sam, and you've kind of been glancing up there. But what do you guys think is the biggest, what the best rated Star Wars
IMDb
film?
wise or Rotten Tomato? I can't see the screen.
So I have both scores because I know they're woefully different. IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes have drastically different scores for a lot of things. So what do you think is the best rated?
So if we're doing IMDb, my guess would be 5, 6, and then 7, or 5, 6, 4, and 7.
5, 4, 6, 7.
It's pretty. Oh, New Hope over.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense.
What do you think is the best fan rated Carter of the movies? So this is a Rotten Tomatoes fan audience score.
Audience, okay.
Man, I'm tempted to go with 5 again, but I'll go with either Force Awakens or Revenge of the Sith.
I'm saying 3.
So
3 and 7.
5, 4,
Okay.
and 6.
Oh,
So right on par.
Yeah, 97, 96, and 94. So those 3 are, people love those, and
they are incredible.
7 and all right. So we just randomly stopped recording or started recording. All right. Well, hey.
The 360.
Yeah. Well, no idea if this is gonna have good video. But the 4 or 7 and 9 are after 4, 5, and 6.
You're telling me it goes 4, 5, 6, 7, 9?
It goes. So it goes 5, 6, 5, 4, 6, 7, 5, 4, 6, 9, 7.
There is no way 9 is over 3.
Oh yeah, audience scores, dude. People hate
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
What was the name of 9?
9 is Rise of Skywalker. It got an 86. I pulled these from Rotten Tomatoes, dude. You can fact check me all you
I'm
want.
doing it right now. I'm not.
We don't trust Rotten Tomatoes these days.
I'm just
Well, no, but I mean, like, I can pull it up right here, actually.
audience is 86.
Yeah,
on
dude.
Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker was a good film.
No, it was not.
We hate it because you are talking about the idea of Palpatine being a clone coming back.
Ruins, like, it literally tarnishes episode 6.
No, it doesn't. Here's why. Because that Palpatine being a clone has been in 4 video games before this point. It is common knowledge to the audience, and people will
Common knowledge to the audience.
to the Star Wars fan base.
What game was he in as a clone?
What's the Rogue Squadron? No, that's the wrong one. What's the one where you play the Imperial starfighter that goes to the Rebels?
Is it like Elite Squadron or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. But
You're talking about the spaceship one, or are you talking about Battlefront 2?
spaceship one.
That's the Elite Squadron.
Yeah, Elite Squadron, I think is the name of it.
Now I gotta look it up. But that one, you can see his clones floating around. His their counselors or something like that. They're like androids.
Did that come out after the movie was made?
It did.
Okay.
Before episode 9.
Oh, it came out before the last episode or the last movie.
All right, man. Can you look it up while I continue while I'm with these numbers? So let's run through these numbers. By the way, budget for the episodes 1, 2, and 3, about $115 million.
Okay, that's huge for episode 1.
115 million, 150 million for 2, 113 million for 3.
That's huge.
4, 5, and 6, 11, 18, and then somewhere between 32 and 42 million.
Yeah.
And then we get into the crazy figures. Episode 7, about
billion?
400 million.
Okay.
Episode 8, 317. And then you can see where 8 just tanked the whole series because Rise of Skywalker is 275.
I mean,
super low budget.
Effects, yeah, I mean, relative to the first. The visual effects in 7, besides
are better than 1, 2,
Dune
and 3?
or maybe Blade Runner 2049, like, I don't know if there's a movie that even gets close to it.
7 looks so good. And I will say that for having rewatched, I'm trying to finish 9, but having rewatched them for this, I'm like, I think that is really what kills 1, 2, and 3 the most as far as age, is that you can see the blue halo effect because they're in a blue screen room around the characters when they have heavy CGI scenes. And I think that even as a kid, it kind of brought you out of the movie because you knew something didn't look right. Just those really bad, like, CGI helicopter blowing up scenes in movies.
I still think 3 looks pretty good. CGI wise,
I think they got better, but I think like
1 definitely
2 is really bad. 2 is the worst by far.
2's rough. Even the special effects in like 4, 5, and 6, they've put the remastered ones on Disney. They look pretty good now.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk a bit about because I rewatched 5 and 6. Since they use so many practical effects, it really does not age that poorly.
Agreed.
Like, there's a couple scenes where it's like, ooh, that doesn't. The lightsabers don't look very good, but most of the scenes look pretty dang good. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 4, 5, and 6 for that reason. I think they, like I said, they need a place in the top, but they don't entertain me as much after 1, 2, and 3. Like, I think the acting is woeful
in the old ones.
Like, Mark Hamill, I think, is a gem of a human being, especially now, but he is so much better in 8, 7, 8, 9
than he is in the original.
Than he is in 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5, and 6 because it just he's grown a lot in general. I think also being a voice actor for like the Joker and the Batman series, I think he learned a lot about how to manipulate his voice for conversation, and it shows as the older Luke, where he comes off as whiny just like Anakin did, and I don't like Anakin for being the whiny little girl that he is. And I don't mean
Anakin.
I do love Anakin.
Oh.
Like but like having just rewatched them,
Yeah.
can I just say also the way Padme manipulates the hell out of him in episode 2, wearing that scandalous black dress with the choker when he's out there pouring his art out, and she's like, "No, we can't. It'll kill us both. We'll be living a lie." And then 3 minutes later, "I'll live the lie with you." Like just playing him.
She knew what she was doing.
Exactly. She knew what she was doing. And so she is manipulative. And if you look at it, you're like, all right, cool. You know, like it makes for a movie, but it's definitely like very manipulative, very not appropriate in today's day and age.
Yeah.
So
the acting. I just feel like I don't know if I would necessarily say the acting is better than the original trilogy. I just think it's more campy. And I don't know if that's like an excuse for bad acting, but I just feel like the whole vibe of all of the acting just feels more campy, like less serious, more feel good.
And the sequels?
No, the original trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I agree with you. Like if we're trying to be more critical, like this is not, very good acting. There are some scenes that I think hold up, like Luke, I'm your father. His reaction there, I'm like, this is pretty
because they
from
didn't
the gut.
know.
The actors didn't know?
No one knew. Whoa. They gave fake scripts to every single person except for James Earl Jones, because he's not he's in a like there's 3 people who play James Earl Jones. Mm-hmm. You have the voice is James Earl Jones, and then you have someone else that's playing his actual
physical body,
and then someone who's doing his breathing. There's 3 different people. And so James Earl Jones was the only one other than Lucas who knew that piece. Like no one knew. And that's why it is so, I think that's why it goes so well.
It's so iconic.
Because you didn't know.
Can you imagine being in the theaters and like, now it's kind of a trope that's overdone, like, oh, the bad guy's related somehow to one of the good guys. But could you imagine, like, that's not a trope that's overdone? You've seen episode 4. It's one of the best movies you've ever seen in your life, or A New Hope. Yep. And then you can't wait to see this, and that twist gets thrown on you.
Oh, yeah. I would
have loved to be in a theater.
It is those twists that make me want twist in a movie. Like, I love a good twist that I can't see coming, but it's because of that movie that even in books, which, by the way, I have a bone to pick with you about the Farseers trilogy, because the first book is boring as all get out.
You already finished it, or
I'm 2/3 of the way through and nothing has happened.
Dang, dude, I loved that book. I just finished the whole trilogy. Good.
I'm gonna finish it based off your recommendation.
Okay.
Hard little tangent there, but I meant to. That was my original question. I meant to ask was, hey, what are you excited about this week? And I was gonna bring that up
because I finished the trilogy and I want to talk about it.
So, but yeah. So I think that predicting what's happening is because of there's no hard plot twist anymore. You're not seeing,
like in movies in general. You mean Star
movies,
Wars?
Books. I think we've gotten to a point where I really do think we've seen everything.
Yeah.
Or a version of it. And I mean, everybody's like, oh, it's derivative of this. I'm not even going with that. I don't want to see it coming. I don't want to see the signpost. I don't want the foreshadowing. I know it's hard, but like that's what I think Star Wars did well, was there is no foreshadowing. There's no reference that they're to the same people. They're not even carried up in the same conversation other than episode 4 when, Obi-Wan's like, Vader killed your father,
Right.
And that's all you get. But they're not brought up in the same conversation.
Which is such a good lore dropper, like little tidbit, because symbolically it's
not wrong.
It's not wrong.
Right.
Worked so well.
Yeah, but that's what I think. But everybody's all like, "Oh, I'm going to leave this little tidbit, this little cookie crumb," and they're not hard to follow. We've seen it all now. So like, that's what I want out of movies and TV shows going forward. Is I don't want breadcrumbs.
Yeah, and that's just kind of like a whole tangent of, with all movies nowadays, like such big budget, they got to be more sure bets. Less risk, more guaranteed success. I feel like thrillers are really the ones who are kind of doing it right as far as twists.
I watched Thriller the other day. It was really good. But anyways, so moving on, what is your hot take for the Star Wars series?
My hot take is that Star Wars would be in a better place if Disney never bought it. Is that a hot take or is that a common
I mean,
opinion?
I would agree with it.
I think because of everybody like, oh, they went woke. I think a lot of people would agree with you.
Oh. I disagree. It's not even about like the woke thing. Really. It's just that we've got so much.
I think
so fast and so much that's just kind of okay with some great stuff that we went from something that was so scarce that was like really held at such a prestigious, opinion for so many fans to now it's like I'm getting too much and too much that's just good or okay. It's kind of tarnishing the brand in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get my hot take is just 8 and 9. I wish weren't there, and we just had something else to experience. It was a different story. I liked all the fan theories that came out.
Dude.
Okay.
Take me back to episode 7.
That is my next question. What is your favorite fan theory? So we'll kind of, I've already said my hot take that 1 is the best one.
Okay. So, yeah, I was going to say 2 is the best one. Could have been your hot take as well.
What is your fan theory that you wish was true? And before we get into this, I'm going to talk about some fan theories that were popular throughout all the time that have either come true or have been referenced in some other way.
Oh, I am very excited to hear the ones that have come true.
So Boba Fett surviving the Sarlacc pit was the largest fan theory because he's the only character that you don't see die. That is a named character that you don't see die. And he's only popular because people spot him in the back of the movie. He's just an extra.
In what movie?
In episode 5. He's just an extra in the background. They just wanted someone cool in the background.
Well, he's the bounty hunter. No, he's not an extra. He's the whole person who goes ahead of Han and them to the Sky City to talk to Lando.
That does not exist in the original movie.
I just watched this 2 days ago.
You're watching the remastered versions. It does not exist in the original movie.
There's no way that's true.
Can you Google?
I can try it. Just to circle back on what we were talking about earlier, the Star Wars Squadrons, the video game.
Squadrons, that's what it was.
It came out in October 2nd, 2020. The Rise of Skywalker, the last movie of the series, came out December 20th, 2019. So the video game almost came out.
So they were in tandem. But I know in the comics, because I do have one of the graphic novels, and that's from 2016.
They do talk about it.
His Sentinels, that's what they're called, do exist. And so I think that's what they pulled from.
Yeah. I believe you on that.
So, Boba Fett.
I'm Googling if he shows up in the original Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, or
even if he
just Google but yeah, people
because that is crazy if that all that is completely added because it's like 15 minutes of content.
Well,
Boba Fett he flies behind the Millennium Falcon after they have their whole escape during the asteroid field. And they think they got away from the ship. So it's Boba Fett's ship that goes ahead. Then we see him going to Lando before them and kind of negotiating the deal.
I don't remember that.
He's a person.
The only thing in the ship is I can think of is him chasing Obi-Wan through the asteroid belt and using the little sonic mines.
Oh yeah.
And the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, when the Millennium Falcon they go into that asteroid and they're actually on top of that giant space worm or whatever. They hide from the Imperial destroyer ship or whatever, and they think they get away. But then right after Boba Fett and his ship, the vertical one he follows.
So Slave One. So I think his ship's there, but I don't think Boba Fett shows up.
At least in if that's not true, then he's the one who does the negotiating with Lando.
Here's the real answer. When they show the hologram of Vader talking to Palpatine or Darth Sidious.
And which movie?
And 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
Was it Ian McDermott or was it the ugly green face?
I don't remember.
If it was Ian
McDermott, I don't remember a hologram in 5 either.
If it's Ian McDermott, it was remastered. Otherwise, it looks nothing.
Well, I mean, it's for sure remastered because
then the remastered version has
it for sure has changes because in the end of episode 6, and this is kind of something that's interesting to me, is Anakin as the Jedi spirit. That's what Disney sees as lore now, which is kind of crazy to me, or canon accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the original Empire Strikes Back, he had 4 lines of dialogue. As you wish, he's no good to me dead.
Yep.
What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
Yeah.
And then put Captain Solo in the cargo hold.
He's still very quiet in the new one.
It looks like he had around 1 minute and 30 seconds of dialogue in the first one.
Yeah.
Even in the newest one, he doesn't talk very much, but he's in it a lot.
But what I'm saying though is that people loved him so much that they gave him more.
Yeah.
And so
so cool.
So Boba Fett surviving the Sarlacc was the largest fan theory that came from the original trilogy.
Which have you guys? Do you guys
Which
watch, have y'all watched Parks and Rec?
Yes. That's you're talking about the scene with what's his face talking about
Ben?
him climbing out
Out of the Thorlac pit, and
which is what they use as
is
reference for
verbatim
the Boba Fett
for
series.
how the Boba Fett series
Yeah,
starts.
they use that intentionally.
Yep.
So
I love that. That's the most
I do too.
popular theory.
the second one is that Jar Jar is really
A Sith Lord.
That was going to be my.
that he is a Sith Lord in the new Lego Star Wars game.
Is he?
Yep.
Yes, he
Okay.
should.
It's a version of
okay.
Jar Jar Binks, so it's not. It's just
not canon.
It's
accurate.
not canon. It's just it's a fan.
Something that's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Fan service.
Han killed himself, not Kylo.
I
Not Ben.
don't know if I believe that.
Because you can't see the hand, so you don't know who activates
Yeah.
it. And then the other one is that Darth Vader can be. You can see Anakin's shadow as Darth Vader every time it shows his shadow. It's not true.
It's not true. That
But-
would be
But
awesome.
in the second one, in episode 2, there is a scene where you can definitely see it because it does give his little helmet like a profile, and because of the way his hair is done, it definitely does look like the helmet.
Yeah.
So like I get where they're going, but it was fan promotional material of episode 1 where they had Jake Lloyd and his shadow was Darth Vader. It's not in the actual movie. It was just the poster. So what are your fan theories that you either thoroughly enjoyed or wish were true?
So mine's not true at all, which is very disappointing.
Oh yeah, I guess we're talking about fan theories from
Yeah.
episode 7.
So my favorite, because what Carter was talking about, like he just wishes 8 and 9 didn't exist. Where we were at after episode 7 of like every YouTube video I'd watch of here's my theory of where the series goes, like that is probably the most excited I've been for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe in my life. It was just such a good spot of so many potential reasons and options.
It was the excitement for the weekend on Friday without it actually being the weekend.
Yes. So true.
So
My favorite one that they kind of hinted at was like Rey had this little bit of evil in her, and really hinted at it in episode 9 where like she's got the lightning, you know, all the hints that she's really struggling with the dark side of the Force. The theory that I like the most is that she was actually a Palpatine,
which was true.
Which is true.
Yeah, she's
Rey's
Palpatine's
Palpatine.
granddaughter.
Which is why I hate the fact that the last movie is called
Rise of Skywalker.
There's no Skywalker that rises. It's a Palpatine and a Solo.
Well, it's Skywalker-esque. But
Wait, she's related to Palpatine?
She's
I just thought she
Palpatine's
was a no
granddaughter.
one.
No,
she's
she's
Palpatine's
Palpatine's.
that's the whole
Yeah.
plot line of 9.
She is,
Okay.
She's a Palpatine.
I have seen 9, I swear.
Okay.
Kylo shows up and says she's a nobody, and then Ian McDermott smiles at him, and you come to find out that her parents intentionally left her on Jakku
Because they knew she was
because his son wanted to marry this girl and didn't want to be a part of the Sith line and wanted to get away, and they were killed. They knew he was looking for her or for them to find her.
Well, my favorite theory came true.
There
All
you
right,
go.
cool.
Okay, so just to hint on the more of the race stuff, I love seeing the fan theories with, Obi-Wan has a little bit of a UK British accent. We saw a little bit of that with Rey. I would have loved to seen Rey was actually related to Obi-Wan.
Kenobi.
Yes, and she's a Kenobi, and that's why she has such a strong connection to the Force.
It could have worked out because in the Clone Wars
TV show,
it is implied that Obi-Wan
Has a
has
love interest, yes.
with,
And it also
from Mandalore.
with the Mandalore chick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never seen the animated series. I just know
It's pretty good.
enough.
I think I watched it in
It's
prep
really-
with Mandalorian.
I've heard it's really good. I
Yeah.
have a hard time sitting down for.
I would
long-
recommend there are a lot of filler episodes
Yes.
with like
Yes.
just anime where like they'll follow R2D2 and C3PO
Yeah.
through some adventure.
There's-
I don't
There's a
care for that.
guide.
Yeah,
that
I was like,
use
there's
as
a
well.
guide for it. I just haven't watched it.
I would highly recommend just go watch the last episode because it shows what Ahsoka goes through during the height of Order 66.
Yeah, I've
phenomenal.
heard season 6 which was the season that almost didn't exist, is the only season that is a must watch all the way through because it's all about Order 66.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
My fan theory that I wish was true is I wish that. Oh, I guess it's more of my theory. I really wanted Kylo to win from the beginning.
Like
One, because Adam
with
Driver
the dark side, or like as it turned good and win.
with the dark side. I wanted Star Wars to be in a state of hell so we could look forward to the next
Something
set.
else. That would have been cool.
Because the good always wins. It doesn't always win. Life tells us it always wins, and like in people in general, I think audiences are more accepting of good not winning in our entertainment now, and that's what I wanted.
episode 3.
Have you seen the?
But good wins.
In the end of 3,
Anakin gets away. Leia gets away. Obi-Wan's get away. It's in a state of disrepair. But I wanted the Final Order to wipe them out. I mainly because I think people got way too invested in Finn and what's his face's
Damon.
Poe, yeah. Poe and Rose. Like I don't and I think Rey turning to the dark side would have been amazing.
So good.
And I think the two of them like just running through everybody would have been awesome because their scene in 8 made it look new. You know, like they brought this whole like Diet of the Force, which was brought into the Acolyte. That's the whole kind of idea. And so like that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be in a state of disrepair, a state of just depression, so that way we had that gritty future of struggle. Because like the Rebels, like we get it more from like additional content from like video games, books, whatever. That like the rebellion and the resistance, as they get called later, are like hamstrung. Like they're tadpoling along. Like the fact that they do well at all is outstanding, and mainly because of Leia's money.
Yeah.
So like without her, I wanted the resistance to just disappear because they got nothing. She's dead.
It would have been cool to see another theory that I was hopeful for was to see kind of Rey and Kylo swap in the sense that Rey fully turns and then Kylo kind of has some like revelation, like with his father, with his mother, whatever it is that, and then turns him good, and to see that final battle go down swapped would have been kind of a cool dynamic to see as well.
Have y'all listened to the Adam Driver interview in the last year where he I don't know if he signed an NDA or something, but now he's actually able to come out, talk about Star Wars. So the original script that he read for the newest ones, he went full bad. Kylo goes through. Yes. We get the Force Awakens as this is him struggling between the light and the dark side, and then the next episode he's even darker. Last episode he's full on dark.
Yep.
Adam Driver is very vocal about the fact that he did not sign on for what was actually created, what we actually got in theaters, and that he thinks if it went down the original trajectory of what the directors wanted to do, he just thinks it would be a better story. And I sit on his side. I'm like, I mean,
Adam Driver's a Marine, and I will stand behind him 100%. But yeah, so I agree. Adam Driver, I think in general,
he's the highlight of the sequelogy. Is that what
the sequels.
I like the sequelogy.
I've heard something like that
because it's the original series, the prequels, and the sequels.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. I like that.
Yeah. Okay, He was incredible, and I just feel like if we had some consistency, it would have gone way better.
Yep.
Because that seems to be the biggest issue. JJ had a vision, then Rian came in, messed it up. JJ tried to save it.
Since they planned on doing a trilogy in the beginning, I don't know why they didn't just have one person write all 3 movies.
Yes.
And like having different directors, fine, but have one person write all 3 movies so there's a cohesive story. Yep. And you cannot like this whole like
no sense.
A director rewriting a movie. I like as long as like the like consensus is there and everybody agrees to it in the beginning, just you have to roll with it. Like small scenes, but you can't change plot lines, and that's what he did with 8. Rian Johnson ruined the sequels, and I will die on that hill.
Oh, he for sure did. I mean, episode 8, I could literally spend. I mean,
can we not
Rose?
Rose is annoying.
Nothing happened.
The squadron leader who is just so rude.
Yeah.
That's just always trying to shoot down Poe.
And she hyperspaces herself through a Star Destroyer. Do you think we have it? There's no way no one in hundreds of years of hyperspace, no one has done that intentionally or done it unintentionally. Like, come on. Like if you want to read the books, you have the whole like hyperspace wars that's happening in the High Republic right now with like the Starlight Beacon and like people are still trying to figure out what the hyperspace lanes are, and that's the whole beginning of the books is that somebody shoots somebody in hyperspace, and like because they're broken up in hyperspace, the ship just goes through hyperspace and comes out of different places all over the galaxy. Dang. So whole planets are eviscerated by a blowing up ship in hyperspace. You're telling me we haven't thought of that as a weapon of mass destruction ever? No one thought about doing that to the Death Star? Come on. Like, that to me is like people.
Oh, that would ruin the Death Star.
People get so mad about like the whole, how they've tracked them through hyperspace. That's referenced in Rogue One. It's one of the items that, what's her face? Jane? Nope. Jane? Who's the chick in
the
Rogue
main
One?
chick?
It's not like V or J. It's something that's like three letters.
I think it's 3 names, but I think it starts with a J. But anyways, when she's trying... Jen?
Jen Urso.
Jen
Urso, yeah.
When she's going through trying to find the plans for the Death Star, she says hyperspace tracking. It's legitimately in the movie. So like that to me, I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we can move this on. But yeah, Rian Johnson, we all can agree, ruined it. So speaking that he ruined it, who is the chosen one?
Who's the chosen one?
Yeah, the whole point of the sequel and the original trilogy is that somebody was the chosen one, bringing balance to the Force.
You think it's Ben?
It has to be. He's the only Skywalker.
So my thought.
You don't think it's Anakin?
I think it's Anakin. I just ignore the sequels.
If we ignore the sequels, then Anakin,
because he's the one who kills
he ended
Palpatine,
it with
and he brings balance.
Exactly.
There's no one left except for Obi-Wan. Oh no, Obi-Wan's dead. Wait, who is left?
Just Luke, Han,
just Luke.
Leia.
No, the Jedi. So
Leia has the Force.
Luke and Leia,
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
But shoot, that's true. If we're going with who's the chosen one based off the new ones,
it has to be Rey because she's the gray Jedi, which is what they implied with her orange yellow lightsaber, which doesn't make sense when you think Mace Windu had a purple lightsaber. But I do love. Oh, that's another fan theory I do like, that he had a dark side past, which is why he was purple. He's blue and red.
Ooh, I like that.
Interesting.
And which is also why he's more aggressive in his fighting style and his communication. I also think he's the prime center of arrogance in the Jedi Council too. So I mean,
he totally is.
I like that fan theory. But so we got no one.
I mean, I'm going just Ben just to keep it the Skywalker name. But I get
really?
it.
How are you gonna justify Ben?
He was there. He helped fight Palpatine. Ben Solo.
Wait, how does 9 end? It ends with
Rey on Tatooine. Someone coming up to her. Who are you? Rey Skywalker.
Okay. Well, not that.
Like the big battle.
One before, between Ben. I know they kiss.
But and then Ben dies.
Yeah.
He used Force healing on her, but she couldn't use Force healing on him, and he dies.
Oh, yeah.
Which also, another thing, I think that's one of the things that the movies did so poorly on is just this explanation of Force powers and where they went, where they came from. Because there are Force powers in the original trilogy that exist that don't exist in the prequels, but the prequel has one that the original trilogy has, and then the sequels have a whole new set of series.
And I know Force healing has always been a thing.
Yeah,
I know that was the biggest dispute, but it's like the
exist.
Introduction.
Obi-Wan couldn't do it to Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah. So I think Anakin has to be the chosen one.
The true chosen one.
The true chosen one.
I would agree.
Because he killed the Emperor and everyone after him is a clone, which is why they all need support. So they're there, they're able to be a nuisance, but in the sequels there is balance. It's just Rey, and it's just Kylo. It's one-on-one.
That's the biggest thing is he brings balance when it's there's such a huge imbalance of the dark side.
Yeah. So I think it's Anakin.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially the biggest thing is just him. It's not Luke who kills Palpatine. It's Anakin who does it.
Anakin does all the work. Yeah. So, all right, we're going to move on to our rapid fire questions. Worst character
in the entire series?
And the entire Skywalker saga.
Rose.
Oh, that's an easy agree with. Yeah, Rose by far.
Leia.
No.
Leia.
I like Carrie Fisher. I like Carrie Fisher, but
they should have brought back the bikini, the brass bikini.
I
agree.
That scares me.
No, I actually don't think it's her. I just wanted to throw a hot take on her quick.
I don't like what they do with her in the sequels. I'll give you that. But
I mean, she was 70 something and on cocaine at that point. I mean, you can only do so much. I think honestly, Jar Jar has to be the worst one. As a kid, I enjoyed him, but Rose has such little screen time that she's insignificant. I think she's annoying, but I don't think she's the worst character. I think the worst character that's written in, honestly, are the Gungans in their entirety. I think they serve a purpose in the first movie, but I think they're...
You don't like the...
Yeah, they were like rude kids. Like that's all they were.
They're so annoying.
As a kid,
it's
they
the
were
worst
funny.
aging thing out of the entire series.
Who's the best character?
It's got to be Obi-Wan.
And best doesn't necessarily have to mean like the goodest. Just
Goodest. I know. Oh, you just mean like, well, I guess favorite. Would that be a better way to put it?
Yeah, we'll call it favorite character.
Favorite.
I'm going Chewbacca.
Ooh.
Oh,
He's always
good.
We haven't talked about him all night.
He's always there to support you. He reminds me of my dog, Canyon.
He is loyal.
He's going to have my back no matter what.
Yep.
Well, now I'm thinking about it. You go first, or you go second.
I'm gonna say Kylo Ren. I think he's
cool.
He's the coolest
cool.
coolest character's next. So I think he's my favorite character. I think his fighting style is everything that you would expect someone who has no real training in lightsaber combat. They're just wailing that lightsaber around. I think he's probably the most authentic out of all of them. Like his mentor tried to kill him, and so he's just raging against the machine. I think he's my favorite character, and also just because Adam Driver, I think he's
Cool actor.
He's a great actor. Like he joined an acting troupe post Afghanistan and Iraq as an effort to give back to veterans because he didn't know what to do with his life, and I think he's come a long way. And I think that like just in general, Adam Driver is probably one of the best human beings on earth. So
high praise. Yeah, I'm locking in Obi-Wan. I wanted to spend some time thinking about it, but he's just so great.
He's solid.
Like mentors Anakin, always tries to like see the good in him, and it paid out because if we're agreeing with what we just agreed on, he was who brought balance to the Force. So he always didn't doubt that.
He did also turn into Star Wars Jesus for
Yeah.
episode 2.
Yeah.
Like I put that y'all know I do reviews. Like I put that in the review as that meme of day 78 of replacing the Jesus photo with Obi-Wan. And my mom doesn't know, So who's the coolest character? Darth Maul, and I'll go first. Darth Maul. He comes in. He has one episode, but he comes in. He is so good. Like his flip off the speeder bike when he first showed up. Cool. His little melding into the back of the hologram when he first shows up, and then that double lightsaber. They're iconic scenes. They're still like people still make memes about episode 1 where he does the double lightsaber thing. He is the coolest character, also because he does everything himself without CGI or wires.
Yeah.
So, coolest character.
Yeah, I mean that's tough to argue with. Kylo's who's coming to my mind as well. If I'm thinking about is like coolest.
Yeah, I mean, you can go Darth Vader. Like any of the main
Anakin's in there as well.
Any of the main baddies are solid.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why I wanted Kylo just to wreak havoc because the bad guys are always so. They're not. I think that's my problem with all the good light side characters that they're gonna win because they're the light side. Like that's the feeling you get. Whereas the dark side, they're well written. They're very visceral. They're very like, I've got this. I'm confident. It would not confidence into arrogance. They're confident.
Well, I mean, Palpatine's pretty arrogant.
But
Luke, you will come over to my side.
But I'm thinking Darth Vader.
Yeah. No,
Darth
Maul. I got you.
Like not the puppet masters in the background.
Yeah.
So, coolest.
I wanted to go Han Solo, but I'm leaning more towards Boba Fett after our talk on the dark
Boba
side.
is cool. And Han is cool too.
I mean, look, he has one of the coolest lines in cinema of "I love you." I know. Like,
Han is
doesn't get much cooler than that, there,
that
kids.
too.
So kind of a tie between
Suave.
those two.
Yeah, Han is.
I thought Poe was kind of cool too, but sometimes he came off as a little annoying. So
and they kind of ruined him in 9, in my opinion.
Exactly.
I think because of what happened in 8, they had to tone him down. And just again.
I mean, in Force Awakens, when he comes in with his X-wing and he
so
just starts
cool,
so cool.
I mean, Force Awakens was so good.
He goes downhill after that.
Yeah, I'll lock in Darth Maul. Okay. I'll lock that in.
No. Where would you want to live in the Star Wars universe? Like what planet?
Ooh,
Naboo. I'm going.
Really?
Naboo.
Why?
There's not a chance in the world I would want to give up living and swimming in that lake. It's Lake Como, and
I feel like you could find a place that looks kind of like Naboo.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. They are a society that has had no need of a standing army. And like if you watch the first one, they don't have a standing army. They have a volunteer security police force. Like they've got nothing. Also, their ships are the coolest. Like they're the Starfighter and the Nabooian Starfighter, whatever, the yellow one, super dope design. Their sleek silver ones are super cool too. Like I think Naboo in general, like they're
looks super peaceful.
Yeah, it's very peaceful. Granted, that's where Palpatine came from. Like,
really,
yeah, he's like that's where he came from. So, but like, so they've definitely got corruption, which is expected of all society. But I mean, like that house that they hang out on and get married at, like that's a dope ass house, and it's on Lake Como in Italy. But like, you know, like that to me is like, oh, cool, I can get behind that. I'm not going to Tatooine. I'm not going to Mustafar.
I was about to say, what about Mustafar?
bro, Dagobah. Come on.
I hate humidity here. You really want me to go to Dagobah?
Miserable. I was thinking a fun, quick question would be, what would be the worst place? But Mustafar is a good answer too.
I'd probably go Kashyyyk.
Ooh, solid
big
answer.
national parks guy. Like doing stuff outdoors.
The redwoods are solid. Yeah,
Kashyyyk would be fun. Look, Coruscant's not a bad answer.
Where's the one where the Wookiees live? Is that Endor?
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk.
Oh,
that's
Kashyyyk.
Indoors where the
that's where the
teddy
little
bears
guys are.
Ewoks.
Yeah, Kashyyyk is awesome, and also another one. Where does Leia live after 3? With the
Alderaan.
Yeah, I like there a lot too.
Alderaan's been really cool in the games. It's really pretty. It's very Naboo-esque.
Yeah.
But
it feels more tech-based.
I'd want to take a weekend trip to Coruscant and just see what the city is. But I don't know if I could live there. I'm not a big city guy.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah.
What color would your lightsaber be? And I want to reference this, that the color, like, I'm not referencing the colors having specific context.
Meanings behind
it. Other than red being Sith. Like, you know, we have black, now we have red, we have purple, we have yellow or orange, and then red and green. Or blue and green.
I'd be green, because I just feel like Jedis with green are like very wise, and that'd be something I'd aspire to be.
You are correct in their traditional meaning as well. Green was the Guardians, so they were like more Force attuned.
Okay.
Blue are the Sentinels that are more
Qui-Gon and Yoda.
like fighting attuned.
That's perfect because I'm going blue. So get me up there with the fighters.
I'm going orange.
Orange is really cool too.
It matches my hair.
Yeah.
Black would not be a bad one.
Black is very cool.
The Darksaber is pretty dope, but like it's the only one. You got to leave that one alone.
Yeah. I agree. We can't touch it.
In the Old Republic video game, they have white, and I like the white. The white's pretty cool.
Yeah, white is cool.
But I don't think it has any context outside of that game. So, what ship would you fly?
Are we talking like what just looks the coolest, or like
Yeah.
for convenience? Because the X-wing is so cool.
Yeah, I do like the X-wing. It's very cool. So would you?
I'll go X-wing.
I'd probably take and I think it's a form of an X-wing before the Empire was taken over by clones and just the clone troopers. But what the Jedis are flying in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Yes, when it's Obi-Wan and Anakin at the beginning.
Oh, this is where the fun begins.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are like mini go-karts, like in space.
They are.
So
and
sick.
they have like the little sides on them that look like mini TIE fighters. And then you see the TIE fighters come in later. So I've always thought those would be pretty fun.
I think the TIE bombers are pretty dope.
They are cool.
But I think I'd go Slave One.
Slave One?
Boba Fett ship. Like,
ooh, yeah.
I just feel like I'd be so disoriented, like only having to go up and down a ladder to like get to different levels.
When you're like when it's on the ground, it's normal.
Flat, yeah.
But and then like it's got to like sit you up. Like there's got to be something that we're not
you would lock
catching.
in like
it makes it's weird. Would you be light? This is a weird question. Light, dark, or gray? And the natural question is like gray because that's what everybody's got a little bit of light and dark in them. But I want to go dark side. I'm not like when I play video games, it's hard for me to be like the jackass throughout the entire game. And I think it's because it's written that you're just so garbage as a human being that like there is no like little bit of morality. You're just straight up the worst human being on any video game. And when you get those choices, but I think I'd want to be the dark side. Their force powers are just so visual and like just they're more aggressive, which is just in general the type of person I am. So I think I'd be dark side.
So just to clarify for the pod, you're not saying you'd want to like commit genocide or
no,
you're just saying you like their abilities more.
Yes, I like their abilities.
Okay.
I find, I like Kylo Ren. Like I understand him, whereas the light side, like as much as
killing your dad, I get it.
Yeah, I think Han killed himself.
You really believe that?
Mainly because I think Harrison Ford wanted to like he was openly he was.
I'm sure he was like do this, but I still think like what lore accurate is that?
I think he killed himself so that way Ben could have a redemption arc.
Maybe.
The possibility of it.
Maybe.
And so like that's why I think Ben killed himself.
Okay.
But so dark side.
Yeah.
I think Kylo Ren's a great character. So,
He's awesome. And the
I
dark
think he's
side
the most
traditionally has the
understandable
coolest
character.
looking characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'd probably go light. I mean, basic. You know, you're not looked down upon. You kind of got to be. You gotta
just
meditate with Yoda.
who supposedly knew about Sith? We'll see. I really want to know how they're going to explain that one in Acolyte season 2 if that ever happens. All right.
I'd probably go the same route. I'd be light. The dark is just so dark.
It's
It's
too
so
dark.
dark sidey. But I do like the gray area, maybe somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
You're always on edge around your boss. Like you just see him killing people left and right. Like,
See,
like, this and
all I
off.
could
I'd be
think of
like,
was with that. What was that Comedy Central skit with
The
Kylo
SNL
being
so yeah, SNL skit with Kylo.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
Are Ewoks cool?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
They're
I love the
They're the
Ewoks.
stupidest
No.
characters.
You better take this back because we already have Eli's Halloween costume as an Ewok.
Oh, speaking of that,
Yep.
I don't know where you're going, but yeah, sure. Right there. Yeah. I was like, where are you going?
He's on an adventure.
So yeah, no, I think Ewoks as kids are cool. They're little teddy bears.
Yep.
So, and I think, like they're cool.
And I feel like that's where, kind of side tangent, that's where like George Lucas went from, his brain started to turn from, can I make a good movie, to how can I franchise this better? And that's where,
Yeah.
the prequels, that's a big sin he committed.
You mean the original series?
No. I mean,
Oh, okay.
So, because a lot of people's big criticism of the prequels is like, oh, he just made Jar Jar to have something that's like really promotable to kids and to get them invested, rather than them being good characters. I feel like that his transition of that mindset started happening with the Ewoks. Yeah.
What weapon would you use? Double lightsaber, double bladed lightsaber, single lightsaber, light whip, which is now something we've seen in Acolyte, a staff, projectile weapon, or laser rifle.
So definitely not double-sided. So not double-sided lightsaber, or not the hilt lightsaber that Kylo has.
Really?
Just, I'm kind of a clumsy guy. I feel like hilt, I would end up stabbing myself somehow. And double-sided, I would 100% cut the back of my leg or something like that. I just need something straightforward. Give me the basic lightsaber. I'll be cool throwing it, or, force throwing it, force grabbing it. But, too clumsy to go the other way.
Single lightsaber, double bladed lightsaber, light whip, staff, projectile weapon, or laser weapon.
I'd probably be dual lightsaber.
Duel's a good one.
I accidentally had you muted from when you got up.
No, you're good. I'd probably go the dual lightsaber route. Have two of them. Feel like Ahsoka. Maybe hold one of them front, one of them back. I don't know.
I think
that'd be cool.
I think if there's a scene in Acolyte, I don't want to give it away, but the bad guy uses double lightsabers, and he uses it in such a bomb way that it has to be
Forcing.
like Star Killer, and you guys play that game.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
dude.
Absolutely.
Dude, oh,
Force
man.
Unleashed.
Force Unleashed games were so good. That's a whole nother conversation, and we definitely don't have time for that. Who played the Queen's Aide in Episode 1? The actress. Or AKA the body double.
I always thought it was Natalie Portman.
It's someone that you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes complete sense, and you'll see it.
Her sister.
Nope.
Okay, I have no idea.
She, let's put it this way. She's an Imitation Game
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict,
You've
it's a
got to
good one.
watch that movie.
Good.
yeah. It's about them
Breaking
tangent.
the Enigma machine. So,
Yeah, read Morse code from the Germans. Really good.
Ooh.
not Morse code, but yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Something. breaking code.
Keira Knightley.
Oh,
Keira Knightley?
totally believe that now.
Yep.
In fact, now that you're saying that, I felt like I knew that. Now I'm sad I didn't know.
Keira
I didn't guess
Knightley
that.
is the queen you see in every scene until the end.
Really?
Dang it, I'm sad I didn't guess that.
Correction. When Natalie Portman's on the throne, it's
With
her.
the makeup, right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like when Jake Lloyd goes in there, I'm just trying to say goodbye to Padme. It's Keira Knightley.
Dang.
And apparently, like they did a lot of work to mask their voices to be similar when in the queen outfit, so that way people just didn't like. That was the lore reason why no one knew when it was a double or normal.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
It is cool.
would you race in a pod race?
Ooh.
Yes.
Absolutely. I've got a motorcycle. I'm 100% racing in a pod
No, I
race.
wouldn't.
I'm a speed demon.
Yep.
That's like what you do F1 right now.
Yes.
Yes.
No, y'all are crazy.
I did the F1 McLaren driving event 2 years ago.
You did?
Phenomenal. I got up to 190.
What?
Guys, fun as
Okay,
shit.
that is awesome.
All right. So when F1 comes to Austin in 6 months or whatever, we'll go.
Down.
We'll drive in it. That's what we said.
I'm gonna pull a Tony Stark
Real
and
life
just
pod races.
kick someone out. And what is a parsec?
Parsec?
Just general reference.
They talk about this so much in the Fallen Jedi series, so I'm sad that I don't.
Is it a form of like a miles per hour, or sorry, like miles or kilometers? Like it's a form of distance.
A measure of distance. Yep.
Okay.
People used to think parsecs were like time because the Millennium Falcon can do whatever in 12 parsecs.
Parsecs? Oh, okay.
And they make a big point of it in 7 when it's 12 parsecs, not 14. Yeah.
Yep.
So and then in Solo they explain what a parsec is, so they made sure. But yeah, so that is all my questions for tonight, and this was a good one. I had a lot of fun with this one.
I did too.
So
This one was great.
I appreciate everyone listening. We talked about all the Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, our hot takes, the budgets, when we watched it, and our favorite memories. And our next episode will either be, depending on time, Assassin's Creed or Aliens, because we have quite a little bit of time, so it just really depends.
Yeah.
But, and to the main point I want to talk about is to get ready for our blank of 2024, like our awards podcast. It's going to be movies, TV shows, and video games. What I feel like is going to be the best way for us to do this is each person, I'll give everybody a bunch of categories. Each person will put in a vote. You guys won't know each other's votes. If we all agree on the same item, there will be no additional vote. If there's a deviation, like if I have this one and Carter has a different one, whatever one you provide, I'll come up with a third one. And we'll ask the audience to vote, friends, and so we'll post on social media, and they'll vote between the top 3. So it'll be a secret to us all. I'll pull up the Google survey in front of you guys when we do the episode, so we can find out together what people's votes were. So be on the lookout for that survey when it comes out. But yeah, I even have some like fun ones, not like game of the year or anything. It's like the technical manual of the year. Any game that requires more time you looking up the rules and how to play.
Black Myth Wukong.
Destiny 2.
See all the different votes right there.
There we go. So those will be our 3. And I wanted to bring this up because the cutoff will be Halloween. Anything that comes out after Halloween. So Assassin's Creed Shadows will not is not considered part of it because we need time for people to vote. So we have to come up with a cutoff date. And so that episode will come out like right at the end of the year.
Okay.
And then in the beginning of the new year, we'll have we'll have a conversation kind of like what our favorites of what our favorite memories of 2024 were in regards to these items.
Cool.
So yeah, this episode will probably come out in a couple weeks, and I do have drinks ready, by the way, for Assassin's Creed and Halloween. Oh, Halloween, by the way, is the Alien series. I forgot to mention that. Minus Aliens 3 and Resurrection, I think.
I did watch Aliens 1 today.
Yeah, I know.
It's great. Holds up very well.
We have just as a sneak of the drinks, the Assassin's Creed has a
wine related.
What?
Is it wine related?
No.
Okay.
No. Good thought, but I'm not making a wine drink.
Okay.
That's a sangria. We're not doing that.
Sure.
My little like tease for the Assassin's Creed one is a grenadine foam.
I've never had that before.
You probably haven't. It'd be really weird to make. It's not time consuming. It's just pointless.
Cool.
It's more for effect. And the hint for the Aliens one is lime sherbet.
Oh, I
love
cannot
that.
wait for
And
that.
That's gonna be good. That's gonna be
and
good.
a drink. So
That is going to be good. I mean, this drink was delicious. I was really hoping to get a second one.
Oh damn! I there was more left. I should have told you. My bad.
Next time.
Yep, next time. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
dancing.
That would have been hilarious.
Because I was reading the questions here. You sent us, like, what's your hot take? What's a fan theory you wish you saw true? So Kaylee and I were talking about it before I came over.
Yep.
I was like, my hot take is Luke and Leia should have ended up together. She's like, don't say that.
One of the other fan theories I think was funny is that George Lucas had no idea that Leia and Luke were related when he made episode 4, and then it did so well. He's like, I gotta think that's something more complex.
I'm impressed. He was working on it this weekend because he was on like Thursday and Friday because he was basically Mac was going to get induced Sunday night. The hospital was too full, so then it went into Monday. So all day Friday and Saturday, he's like, we're not doing anything. We have no plans. We're just sitting around waiting for her to pop. Yep. And he's like, we're just playing Destiny. Or he's like, I'm playing Destiny. What are you doing? I'm like, dude, we're on the boat. Like, it's Labor Day weekend. I got my family in town.
Wait, is this Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, dude, I'm not gonna be back on until like Saturday night. And even then, Kaylee and I got home on Saturday. She's like, you're really not gonna go play, are you? And I was like, no, it's 11:30. I'm just going to bed. And so I felt bad, but he's like, I'll get it with you. And I was like, dude, I don't know when I'm gonna be on to have the time to do this again.
Because it took me a whole.
Because he sent me this one Monday, and then Friday he shoots this one. And I'm like, ooh, you've been busy. I was impressed.
But yeah, no, I've been woefully underwhelmed.
I'm gonna.
Hallie does like seeing all the things that Nyx can do.
Nyx is really cute. Have you pointed your gun at Nyx?
Yes.
Yeah.
What does he do when
you saw it?
He plays dead.
Oh,
one of my buddies at work, I was sitting there. This was like some point last week where I had like 30 minutes to play, and he texts me and goes, "Hey, point your gun at Nyx." And I'm like, "Oh gosh, this is either gonna be really bad." Yeah. And so I was like, "Fine." I pointed my gun at Nyx. He plays. I'm like, "Okay, that's really cute. This was cool."
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think Nyx is probably the best thing they've done, but. There's
I
only
also like the little like scarves and stuff you can put on them. They're cute.
There's only just so much. Like I've gotten to the point already. I'm probably 20 hours in where I'm like, okay, I'm over the gameplay. Like there's not the combat's stale at this point.
Yeah, this was exactly what I was gonna say. There's two enemies.
Yep.
You have the ones with the shield and the ones without a shield, and either way, they're kind of garbage.
Yeah.
So like I was like and also the world's way too big.
The first one?
This Tatooine!
I haven't been to Tatooine yet.
It's worse! There's nothing! The worlds are so big. They're all lifeless.
Right. Because I like that it doesn't have the typical map clutter of a Ubisoft game, but now I'm like, you guys went the exact opposite. There's not enough. And in order for me to do something too, you have to go to like the one spot on the mountain that you can only get up to by a certain trail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll finish it. I'll get through it. But I'm like, this is not. It's okay.
What were we saying?
So I did a mission, like a contract thing, where you're having to basically try to earn rep points with a certain faction. And while you're doing it, if you come across another faction and you guys get in a gunfight or they see you, it lowers your faction score with it. I'm like, that's just bad.
Like if I kill everyone who saw me, it shouldn't lower the score.
That's exactly how I feel. If I finish an encounter and everyone's dead and everybody leaves, why am I getting low points because Crimson Dawn saw me? What?
Exactly how I feel. I'm like, yo, I am the only person left in this building. If an alarm goes off, sure.
Right.
But if no alarm goes off because I've either disabled the alarms or killed everybody in the process, nah.